Hello guys, welcome back to Top Movies Recap. Let's dive into episodes 3 and 4 of this series. In the hospital, while soldiers are moving a cage into an elevator, they accidentally disconnect the nitrogen tanks. This causes the creature inside to wake up and attack. The creature starts attacking all the soldiers. One soldier named Endo sacrifices his comrades and manages to escape. But in this chaos, he is severely injured. Lieutenant Kato interrogates him to gather information, but the man is in too much shock to tell anything. Lieutenant Kato questions a surviving officer, Endo, demanding details about the creature's movements. He tells Lieutenant Kato they need to kill the monster as soon as he sees it because it is too dangerous. But Kato is strangely fascinated by it. Tang continues his search for Saimoto and receives indirect confirmation from Lady Maeda that Myeongja is indeed inside the hospital. Before leaving, Tang is instructed to send a visible signal from outside the hospital, informing his group that help is on the way. Meanwhile, Chaeok meets a soldier who was forced to join the Japanese army. He explains that even a small amount of anthrax can kill, recounting how he witnessed its effects in China. He confirms that Myeongja is alive and has played a key role in saving people from the brutal experiments taking place in the hospital's basement. He assists them by providing a hospital map and the last known location of Myeongja. During the conversation, he recalls his past where he was tortured by the Japanese. He was helpless at the moment, so he decided to take his own life. But as he was attempting it, Myeongja saved him. Back to the present, he pleads for their help to escape the abuse from his fellow soldiers. They make a plan, but the soldier must return to his post to avoid raising suspicions that could lead to a search of the hospital. The soldier helps them devise a perfect distraction, which is fireworks. The detectives promise to take him with them when they escape. Chaeok brings hopeful news to Tang, asking him to meet her for dinner, promising that Saimoto will be there. However, when Tang arrives, he is ambushed by a group of samurai thugs. By the time he manages to escape the thugs, Chaeok and Saimoto have already left. Feeling defeated, he returns home to find Juntaek waiting for him. An argument ensues between Tang and Mrs. Nawal, as Tang insists on going back to the hospital despite his injuries, while Mrs. Nawal urges him to prioritize getting treated first. A woman leads Tang to Saimoto, the painter who worked at GyeongSeong Hospital. They reunite, and later, Saimoto arrives at the hospital gate with a rickshaw. He informs the hospital staff that he has supplies ordered by the doctor, which prompts them to open the hospital door for him. The rickshaw that Saimoto brought did not carry any luggage. Instead, it was transporting Tang and his friend Juntaek. Whereas, as the janitor goes back to work, the detectives head to the rooftop. Chaeok sneaks through the ducts and finds a laboratory filled with failed experiments and a cell containing children who are likely the next victims. She rescues the kids but has to hide when a doctor enters. The doctor sees the empty cells, so she has to kill him to prevent him from alerting the soldiers. Chaeok returns to the rooftop to signal her father, but to her surprise, some Japanese soldiers are patrolling there now. She signals her father, but nearby soldiers overhear the signals. They catch her father, but just then, Young-won, hiding, creates a distraction by the fireworks. As the sky lights up with fireworks, he attacks the soldiers. Chaeok joins the fight, and they manage to take down most of the soldiers. But just then, one soldier sneaks up on Chaeok, ready to shoot. But in an unexpected turn of events, Tang comes to save her and shoots the soldier, who has infiltrated the hospital to assist them. The fireworks were part of Tang's plan to distract the soldiers in the basement. Meanwhile, the hospital director asks Lieutenant Kato to create more creatures like the one attacking, but Kato explains that it's not easy, as all previous attempts have failed, except for the latest creature. The detectives gather with the children, and Tang, alongside his friend Jun, seeks out his kidnapped companions. Saimoto, the artist, is there too, having helped Tang enter the hospital. Chaeok is determined to find her. She tells Tang to get the kids to safety, while she continues the risky search for Myeongja. Chaeok has a flashback from her childhood. She used to play a thread game with her mother, who would show her the endless possibilities with a single thread. Those lessons have stayed with her, guiding her decisions even now. Japanese Army Commissioner Ishikawa was trying to locate the people responsible for the fireworks, as those are illegal in GyeongSeong. On the terrace, Tang is frustrated, as rescuing so many kids is not a part of the plan. On the other hand, the other soldiers discover the dead doctor killed by Chaeok and launch a search to track down the culprit. Tang and Chaeok manage to sneak their way through the building and finally reach Saimoto's room. As they enter, they notice a group of children gathered there. One of the older girls raises her hand and starts to explain her situation to everyone present. She tells them that she receives daily injections, which makes them all very curious and concerned. With a heavy heart, she reveals that many kids have died as a result of these cruel treatments. This shocking information deeply affects everyone in the room, especially Tang. As he listens to her story, a realization hits him hard. He starts to connect the dots and realizes that the commissioner's girlfriend Myongja must also be suffering through similar illegal experiments. Tang reveals to Chaeok that Saimoto is the artist she is looking for. She shows him a drawing of her mother, but Saimoto can't gather the courage to tell her that her mother has become a monster. So he lies and claims not to know. In the room, a girl child sees the painting and screams in fear. Just then, a soldier hears a girl scream from Saimoto's room and quickly alerts his superiors. Meanwhile, Tang instructs a teenage boy from the group to pose as a rickshaw driver and escort the kids out of the hospital. He provides detailed instructions to ensure their safety. He gave them a written message and asked them to show it to Mrs. Nowell to ensure their safety. They eventually reach the pawn shop and show Mrs. Nowell Tang's message, who welcomes them. Saimoto stays behind to avoid suspicion while the others return to the rooftop to use the ducts again. Using a sword, Juntaek takes out some unconscious soldiers from the earlier fight, leaving behind a message that reads, "For the freedom of Korea." But a guard spots the sword and raises the alarm. All soldiers are awakened and begin searching the area. Meanwhile, a lady named Yukiko Maeda is the main investor in the hospital. She comes to meet the director of the hospital, Ichiro, and tells her that she believes that Tang has infiltrated the hospital and they must find him. She gives a direct order to Ichiro, telling him to ensure that Myongja stays alive for her own plans that involve the baby she is carrying. She emphasizes that no harm must come to Myongja until her plans can be fully realized. Meanwhile, the soldiers are tasked with dragging Myongja out of her cell. They move her to another part of the building, but as they pass through the corridors, the creature watches them closely. It observes their movements and learns how to use the elevator. When the soldiers return to the elevator, they are completely unaware that the creature has already made its way inside. As soon as the doors open, the creature attacks them without warning. The soldiers try to escape from the terrifying beast, but they quickly find themselves outmatched and are brutally killed. Following this shocking turn of events, the creature goes on a rampage through the hospital, mercilessly killing any soldiers that get in its way. The chaos escalates, prompting the director of the facility to take immediate action. He decides to increase security measures throughout the building. This leaves the group with no choice but to find an alternate route to avoid the heightened danger. Back in the ducts, a soldier on the roof notices that the grate has been moved and starts following them. They escape through a laundry chute and land in the laundry room, but they are caught by the soldier. He knocks Chaeok down, and as he prepares to shoot her, Tang engages him in a fight. Jungwon takes care of Chaeok while Tang faces the soldier alone. Although Tang ultimately emerges victorious in the end, he suffers from several injuries during the fight. After the battle, Chaeok takes it upon himself to tend to Tang's wounds, ensuring he receives the care he needs. Meanwhile, Jungwon comes up with a plan. He suggests that they should split up in order to find Myongja more quickly. He decides to head to the third floor of the building, while Chaeok and Tang agree to search the second floor together. As they explore the second floor, Tang enters a room and is immediately taken aback by a shocking sight. He sees a soldier being carried off by a terrifying creature, which is feeding on the soldier's brain. This gruesome scene fills Tang with horror. At the same time, Chaeok is looking out the window, trying to keep an eye on their surroundings. Suddenly, he spots the monstrous creature approaching Tang. The creature is terrifying, with its long, tangled limbs that wrap around the pillars of the building. Tang stands frozen in place, completely shocked and unsure of what to do next. He realizes he must act quickly to avoid becoming the creature's next victim. Will Chaeok and Tang be able to save Myongja before it's too late? What do you think will happen next? How would you handle such a terrifying situation? Share your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more thrilling content.